Good morning. It is Friday morning. I pretty much just had a week of making bags. Yesterday we did get our panels put up and we got the steers separated from the horses. So I got a bag of grain for them. It's nothing special. What I did was, of all the grains that I made, all the bags that I made, there's 5, 10, 20, 30, whatever pounds left over in the mill. So I've just put all that in a bag. So I'm not even sure what it is. It's mostly barley and oats and stuff. But I'm gonna grab that bag. I've been saving it just for these steers. I'm gonna take it up. I'm gonna find a place to put it. So that's the pen we were able to build for them. We needed what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We only needed about 8 of those panels. So I was pretty excited to get them. I was talking to a cattle buyer guy, and I was asking him, what should I do? Like, we don't have this was all fenced, but it was so like decrepit, it was 40 years old already, and it wasn't treated lumber and stuff like that, so everything was already starting to fall down. So my wife and I, we took it all down. And then, so I was asking a few people, like, should I go get posts and wire and everything and start, building up the corrals again the way they were? And they said, well, with the price of lumber right now, price of barbed wire, price of, 2x8s and stuff like that, big corner posts that you're going to need for in your corral. And they said, you may as well just get these panels because you're already starting from scratch. Now, if you have an existing facility, it probably doesn't make sense to tear it all out and then get panels. But the thing is, we didn't have anything. We just had those lean-tos. So, it's not a whole bunch more money to just get the panels, and then you can do what you want, and it's not permanent, but, it works. And if you don't want to do it anymore, you can just sell the panels, whereas the posts and stuff in the ground, you can't just sell them, right? So that's why we went with the panels. So now that I got that grain up there for them steers, I got 3 bags or so to make today, nothing crazy. I'm gonna make them up. It's still minus 16. I didn't have anything plugged in except for my hammer mill tractor and stuff like that, so nothing else is really gonna start. It is supposed to warm up this weekend. I got some grain to dry for the neighbor. He dropped his tandem off the other day, but the dryer's still full of snow. I'm gonna try to get that swept out today once I get these 3 bags made. And then if I get that swept out, the tractor for the dryer is actually in the shop. It's the same one we use on the grain bag, so it'll be nice and warm. I gotta get that old cockshot tractor started because it's got the swing auger. So I'm just gonna get into making the feed here, but I thought I'd point out, a few years ago, 2 maybe, we set all these bins up down here, and we set them up just for the feed part of the farm. So one's full of canola, one's full of oats, barley, peas, and wheat. And I was glad I found all these augers, 6-inch augers by like 30 feet, and I put electric motors on all of them except for that one there. And the reason that one didn't get one is because you'd need a pretty big electric auger to run the peas through it. Like, peas are, they're rock hard, and so it's kind of like augering gravel. They don't flow that nice through an auger. So I thought, whatever, one gas one is no problem. Those little engines, they pretty much start regardless anyways. So before I had this all set up, I had to drive up to our bin yard, and actually a lot of it, I bucketed the grain out of the bin door and filled the bag that way. So you can imagine getting 30 pounds at a time, trying to get 1,800 pounds of grain out. It used to take a lot longer than it does now. So now that's what I do. I got my bag hanging from the scale. There's a scale up there yet. And so I'll fill it up till I get, this particular one, the guy wants 1,000 pounds of pig feed. So it'll be oats and peas and barley is what he wants. So I need, 333 pounds roughly of each one. And then I'll take it over to the mill and we'll grind it up. So there's a bit of leftover peas and stuff in this hopper. Most of the feed that I make there's nothing in it that's animal specific as far as medication and stuff, with the exception of the 4-H feed. It has a little bit of cattle specific stuff. So there was one minor setback to upgrading to this bigger mill. This mill has a flat bottom floor. So while it does a pretty good job of mixing, I found you basically need 1,000–1,200 pounds of grain in there before it starts mixing properly. My old mill had a cone, so the flighting was basically the auger that carried it up inside the mixer. It coned right down like a hopper bottom bin, or like our grain dryer does. This one doesn't. It's a little bit different. So for making smaller batches of grain, it actually becomes a little bit trickier. So finally, after it took most of the day to get my feed bags made, to get the snow cleaned out of the dryer, but we got the dryer running. Also, another thing that is just the way the cookie crumbles. So the tractor that runs the dryer was in here overnight, and when I went to open the door, that piece of wood came flying off, like the nails ripped out of it. And then of course it's on a spring, so it was kind of chaotic. So by the time we climbed up there and we got that, we put big lag bolts in there, and we reinforced that one. And then that chain over there fell off, so the door, like from halfway, fell. And then it got all out of adjustment, so it didn't know when it was open and when it was closed. And I conveniently threw the instructions away because the guy that installed the door, I mean, I could just call him. But I Googled it, and then I let my dad read it because I had to go load some bags, and we figured it out. So we got it all set. There wasn't the end of the world, but I don't film enough of the hardships, but we definitely have them. There's lots of stuff goes wrong here, for sure. And I'm going to work a little bit better at filming some of that, because you rarely go a day without something breaking. So here's a prime example of things not working out as they should. This tractor started yesterday, started every day up until now. I needed it, it was on the swing. Tried to start it today, wouldn't start. So I didn't know what it was. My dad was out here, so he helped me, we towed it over here. But I was just trying to start it here right now for like, I don't know, a couple minutes. There's no battery in there. So it's back to the magic shop. We drug it over here, and my dad already took the battery out. It's in charging, so I guess I should look and make sure things have a battery before I try to start them. Good evening. I'm just gonna get ready to wrap up for the night. The dryer's cooling. It's been cooling for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna leave the grain on there overnight, so that'll help it cool down. We had a pretty good day despite the overhead door incident and that cockshut tractor not starting. My dad thinks the starter's probably wrecked. It seemed to have stuck on when he went to turn the key. So we did get what? I got the bags I had to make today. I got them made earlier this morning. We got 3 loads dried for the neighbor. Not supposed to get too cold tonight, but I did put the tractor that was running the auger in the shop. I plugged in both the grain trucks and I plugged in the other tractor. So yeah, no, we don't have electric vehicles. You just plug them in northern Alberta, because if you don't and it gets down to -15, odds are it's not starting tomorrow. So as always, to everybody that watches, thank you very much. If there's any new people, welcome. Stay tuned, because we're going to upload videos every week or every few days when there's something interesting happening. So look forward to that.